What's up, guys? My name's Cody, and we are back with another full card breakdown. This time for UFC 297. We have two title fights, and I know not everybody loves the co-main, the first title fight of the night, but we do have Sean Strickland versus Du Plessis, and I think that's one of my most anticipated fights of this. Well, that I would say of the year, but really announced fights so far of the year. Obviously, we're early, but Sean Strickland, Du Plessis, especially after the press conference and the little in the crowd scuffle, pretty amped to see the fight. I know a lot of people are super confident one way, so we're going to be getting into that a little bit later. I am a fan of both guys, but this card is pretty solid. I mean, is it 297? Is it 298? Even 8? And it's definitely not 300, but it is a solid card, and the whole main card is very good. Maybe besides one, but let's get into it, man. Please leave a like on the video, leave a comment, let me know your most confident bets, your most confident picks. Always like to go back and forth with you guys. I am on Twitter as well. You can catch me out there at Cody Jitsu. Everything else is Cody Dank, like here. You can find all that in the caption below as well. But all that out of the way, man, let's get right into it. We got the first fight of the night, and I think this is literally probably the least durable UFC fight we've ever had. Two guys that are known for getting finished. We have Malcolm Gordon, fellow Canadian. We're going to see a decent amount of Canadians, of course, because this fight is taking place in Canada. Where exactly in Canada is this? Sorry, I'm not super. Yeah, Ontario. That's what I thought. I confuse a lot of the Canadian cities there, but the first Canadian of the night, Malcolm Gordon. He's honestly fought some solid competition so far. I mean, Amir Albazi, Sue Madarji. Okay, at least he is a dangerous striker. Getting knocked out by him isn't the worst. He did look super. I mean, he got hit like one time and he was just like gone. Francisco Figueiredo does have power. He actually won that fight as a decent underdog. Bondar won that fight as well, but it was a little bit odd with the arm with the injury there. I think it was his elbow. I'm trying to remember, but then he fights Makayev and Hadley. Okay, Hadley isn't as good as some people thought, but he is solid. I mean, that's decent competition compared to Jimmy Flick, where he's fighting Alejandro Costa, Charles Johnson. I mean, one of the you don't hear me say this often, but one of the flukiest wins I've ever seen against Cody Durden. If they rematch that, I would take Durden 5-1. Okay, yeah, he would dominate that fight. But anyways, and then look at the rest of these guys. I mean, the only notable name would really be Chris Gutierrez, and he got finished. Both these guys have not had great runs. Both these guys. Very just easy to finish, but I do think Gordon has the better striking, and I mean Flick is dangerous on the ground, but I think Gordon is too. I think the biggest skill discrepancy is on the feet, and I think Gordon should be able to piece this dude up on the feet. I mean, in the grappling, I think Gordon. I think the grappling's pretty close, but I feel like I can trust Gordon to outstrike him while it's on the feet. And I mean, if both guys grappling kind of cancel itself out, or at least is close enough, then I mean, it makes me feel like Gordon is the rightful favorite. And I mean, when I first saw this matchup, I just felt like Flick, he announced that was his retirement years ago, and since he's came back, he has looked awful. I really cannot believe that Gordon has been a favorite, and now he's a pretty big favorite. But not only that, but I can't believe I'm saying this, but I bet Malcolm Gordon as a favorite in the UFC. I took Malcolm Gordon at -120. I got on my bets for the next couple cards pretty early. I mean, sometimes you guys know I might add a bet or two last minute, or last minute for me, like last day or two. But I like to try to get on these early. I feel like I missed a couple lines last week because I made a couple bets a little late last week. But, got on Malcolm Gordon -120. I mean, him right now is like, where is he? Holy, I didn't know it was that bad. I was seeing it the other day, and it was like -140 on some books. And I was like, wow. -200. That is insane. I would not take that bet. I mean, That's crazy. At those odds, I can't blame anybody taking a shot on Jimmy Flick, but as a slight favorite. So honestly, I would not bet this fight anymore. Realistically, I still wouldn't be trying to bet Jimmy Flick in a UFC fight, period. Malcolm Gordon at least has some skills. I just feel like Flick, he has some subs, and that's it. Zero striking. Give me Malcolm Gordon. I think he should win this fight. Let's move on, because I've spent entirely too much time. But that fight is interesting, honestly. I think it's going to be fun. Next up, we got Jasmine Jasudavicius taking on Priscilla Cachoeira. Priscilla Cachoeira, I mean, this girl's got big power. She's fought some tough girls. I mean, at least Miranda Maverick, Ariana Lipski, okay, solid. Jillian Roberson, who we're going to be talking about later. I mean, Gina Mazzani, okay. I mean, at least she's been in the UFC for a while. She did fight Valentina, which, my God, I can't believe that fight was sanctioned. But Jasmine, doesn't have the power, doesn't have the danger on the feet that Priscilla does, but she does have good wrestling. She is super durable. Whoops. And, we haven't seen her. I don't think she's been finishing her career. Yeah, she hasn't been finishing her career. I mean, lost to Elise Reed. Okay, at least Elise Reed ended up going to the UFC. It's not the worst loss. Natalia Silva by decision. Trace Cortez, who obviously that's not a terrible loss. Trace Cortez is pretty legit. Jasmine should be the minute winner here. Priscilla on the feet, big power. She could definitely knock Jasmine out, but I've seen nothing but durability from Jasmine. So I'm going to have to go with the favorite. You guys know me. I ain't betting no. What is it? Minus. Oh, dear Lord. I didn't know it was that bad. I was seeing people putting her in their parlays, and don't get me wrong. She should be able to take Priscilla down easily. Priscilla does not have takedown defense, but if you're parlaying minus 400, Jasmine Jasudavicius, I am a fan of her style. This is in Canada. I think she's shown nothing but durability. She's shown great wrestling, whereas Priscilla has bad wrestling. I think Jasmine should be able to take her down for 15 minutes, but minus 400, that's a parlay buster right there. I'm good on that. I will take Jasmine by decision, but ain't no way in hell I'm betting that fight. Anyways, let's move on. We got Johan Lioness taking on Sam Patterson, and I clicked him for a reason. Spoiler alert, I am going Johan Lioness. This was my second bet of the card. I just feel like, man, Sam Patterson, he is probably also going to be the minute winner. I'm going with 3 straight Canadians. Nice. Not nice, America, but, shout out to Canada. Sam Patterson, he's lanky as hell. 6'3", just look at that picture. Dude looks like a giraffe, but, only has a 2-inch reach advantage in this fight. It's not like I think, he's going to be able to just stick on it with a jab, because Sam Patterson is going to be the minute winner. He is going to be throwing more volume. Johan has shown terrible volume in some of these recent fights, but I got to say, Sam Patterson, man, his defense is awful. He's moving up to 170, and he's fighting a big 170er who is a big puncher. And I just feel like I've seen Sam there to be hit so often. Not just saying that because of that last fight and how that went. Obviously we saw that's who it was. I was like, who even was that he fought? Let me silence my phone. That vibrates, pissing me off. Yanal Ashmov. That was on the Edwards Usman fight card, the third one. Obviously we didn't get to see a lot, but even in some of these wins, I'm just seeing the him backing straight backwards with his hands out, chin up. I just don't want to see that against a big puncher up a weight class. Maybe the weight class, the lack of a cut, because he is a big guy. He was a big guy at 55. Maybe that's going to help his chin, but I don't think it's going to help his defense. So give me Johan Lioness. I think he knocks him out. Honestly, I was looking at some of the KO props, but I think there's a world where he could just win this fight by decision. I know that the volume isn't great, but Lioness, what was it? I thought I did see the prop drop Lioness by KO. I could end up taking it, but I don't know. I think Lioness straight minus 125 was good enough. The second, I saw some people get it even better. If you got it better than that, congrats. Some of you guys are like in here super early, like the absolute second it drops. I need to start turning alerts on for more fights when they drop, because That would be nice. But yeah, I mean, some people I think got like even money on that. But minus 125, I'm happy with that line. I think he should be the favorite by a wider margin. I think he knocks him out probably first round. Give me Johan Lioness first round knockout. Let's move on to the next. We got Jillian Robertson taking on Poliana Viana. One of the baddies in the UFC right now. I mean, definitely understand why she has a decent amount of fans, but and she goes with that whole, what is not Naruto, what is the one that I don't know, she's a big fan of one of these popular animes, but maybe it is Naruto. But anyways, the thing about her, she's a great grappler, great jiu-jitsu, good submissions. You guys know I love jiu-jitsu. I'm a jiu-jitsu guy, but the problem is, and we talk about this typically once a week, the wrestling just not there. Not only offensively is she not out here taking girls down, but she's out here getting taken down. And maybe that's because she's accepting the takedown because she wants to go to the ground, she wants to go to her back. But that's just not a high level, that's just not how you win high level MMA fights, not consistently. And I just feel like Jillian Robertson, I mean, this is pretty simple for me. If you're going to give me, I mean, and now I'm not betting this because you guys know it takes a lot for me to take women's favorites, especially lower level women's favorites. I mean, I'm a fan of Robertson, nothing but exciting fights. I'm honestly a fan of both these girls. They have fun fights, but I feel like Viana's got to either knock her out or submit her off her back because I just feel like Roberson's going to be able to take her down, and I don't think it's going to be too hard to take her down. So, give me Jillian Robertson. I'm going to take her. I'm pretty torn on the method. I mean, it could go a lot of ways, but I'm gonna say by decision. I think she's gonna be hunting submissions, but I don't know if she'll get it. I think she might just take her down for a couple of these rounds and win the decision. Could be a sub. Wouldn't play a prop. Wouldn't play it probably at all. Give me Jillian Robertson. I'm gonna take her by decision though. Next up, we got Serhi Sadi taking on Ramon Tavares. This is a rematch. We saw Tavares. We saw him in that last fight. I mean, or actually, it was not his last fight, but their last fight. It was kind of odd. I mean, we saw him get clipped and get knocked down, but I mean, it wasn't a knockout. It was an early stoppage. The ref got a little crazy there, and I'm glad that he's getting a shot to redeem that fight. But the problem is, you go through his fights, and I mean, I tried to find more, but you go through his record. I couldn't find a lot of these fights to watch, but it's just like, okay, I mean, on the amateur scene, okay, whatever, not terrible. I mean, he fought Steven Kozlow and lost, but okay, it's his first fight. But then after that, it's just like 2-6, 3-4, 3-13, 5-5, and you got knocked out in 30 seconds. 4-3, 8-6, and 8-6 Martin Day. And that's not Martin Day like before the UFC. No, this is after the UFC when he was looking god awful. I cannot believe they booked him versus Valiev. I don't know how Valiev didn't just absolutely spark him unconscious. But anyways, it's a washed, demoralized Martin Day, and then he fights oh my god, Charles Bennett, 70-fight Charles Bennett. Like, was washed 10 years ago, and I mean, we're all a fan, but come on. James Dunn, a 5-5 guy, and then and James Dunn too, he knocks this guy out. I mean, okay. And then he knocks out, I mean, he loses that crazy, early stoppage, and then he comes back in here on the Contender Series and knocks out a midget. Just kidding, no disrespect, but, he is obviously thicker than a Snickers, but, I mean, okay, we never said the dude didn't have power. He's got good boxing, but knocking out a 5-4 Contender Series guy, I mean, no disrespect. I mean, the guy didn't look terrible, but I mean, knocking him out in 30 seconds, doing with your strength. I mean, we know the guy's got heavy hands. We know he's got good boxing, but Sadi, I just feel like he's much more well-rounded. He could take Tavares down. He could submit him. He could win a decision here. I think he's got the better gas tank. And I think he's shown more durability. Even in some of these fights Tavares has won, we've seen him eat shots, and I don't know if he's got the most durability. I don't know if he can stuff a takedown. I don't know. I mean, I feel like Sadi, there's a lot more answers for him so far, and with a lot more questions for Tavares. So I'm going to go with Sadi. I thought about it because I'm not going to lie. I was trying to think of maybe someone to double down on Katona, someone who we'll be talking about in a bit as a parlay piece, but I just, I don't know if I want to bet it. The line is probably about what I'd set it, so when that happens, I tend to not bet it. I mean, that's the point, right? I do think Sadi's the better fighter, but I don't know if I'm going to get to the betting window. Let's move on to a banger fight, man. We'll take Sadi though by knockout. Sadi could honestly knock him out. He could submit him. He could win a decision, but I'll take him to get another knockout, a legit one this time. And let's move on to Charles Jourdain versus Sean Woodson. Man, this man Sean Woodson, he is built. Man, I heard somebody do a good comparison. It was pretty great. I can't remember it, but he's got like the biggest torso with the littlest legs. I mean, not like a big. He's built like an iPad or something, man. This dude's got the most awkward build, bro. But, yeah, I mean, or is it the other way around? Does he have big, like, long legs? I mean, they're tiny toothpicks, but then like his chest is short. I can't remember, but something just stands out when every time I see this guy, I'm like, what is up with this dude's build? But anyways, that's a little bit long enough on this guy's body. Charles Jourdain, I mean, he's a slick striker. He's got good submissions. If it goes to the ground, he should have a grappling advantage. But I think this fight will play out mostly on the feet. Charles Jourdain, obviously, I mean, he's got more of the finishing upside. He's got more power in his hands. He is going to have to get inside because, we've seen him have some trouble with some of these longer, taller guys. And Sean Woodson, obviously, I mean, he's got 9 inches of reach on him. He's got 5 inches of height. He's obviously going to have to get inside that range. And can he, if he tries to stick on the outside and play the range game with Woodson, I mean, he's more of a counter striker, but I don't know. I just feel like Jourdain's going to have to, really get after it. He's going to have to make this a brawl, make this ugly. I mean, he doesn't have to make it a brawl. A brawl would definitely suit him, but even if he doesn't, he just needs to get inside. And, I mean, I wouldn't be mad at seeing like a little bit of wrestling. I think if he put Sean Woodson on his back, he can do some good work on the ground. Could snatch up a sub or something. Do I think there's a high likelihood of that happening? Probably not. Charles Jourdain wants to knock you out on the feet for sure. But, I'd love to see him like work him back to the cage with his striking, because we're probably going to see Sean Woodson, play the outside game, as he should, like he tends to do. And if Jourdain can push him back towards the cage with some good combinations, even if they don't land flush, and just, try to chain and make it an MMA fight, man. Mix it up. I'm not saying he needs to go out there with a singlet on, but, throw some combinations. Get him backing up. Once you get him to the cage, he's tough to track down sometimes. So, clinch up with him. I think you should be able to bully him. Don't let him bully you, son. No, but put him up against the cage. Use what I think he should have a little bit of a strength advantage. And I know some of these tall, lanky guys are hard to body lock to the ground or something, but, put him up against the cage and then shoot, man. Get them little toothpick legs and put his ass on his back, man. Woodson, I mean, we haven't seen him there a lot, but I think we need to see more guys try that, because I really think he could do some good work on top of Woodson, but overall, I do think he should be the favorite. I don't think I can bet it. Woodson, I could see Jourdain getting lulled into that outside point striking. I don't want to say the words point striking with Charles Air Jourdain, but if he gets lulled into one of those Woodson fights where he's just popping you on the outside with these straight punches, that could definitely go bad for Jourdain. But I think he's the rightful favorite. I think he should win the fight. I'd love to see him mix it up. I'm going to take him, though, to win a decision. I think a close decision, 29-28, wins the first 2 rounds. Well, no. I don't know which rounds he's going to win, because typically 3rd round Charles Jourdain is legit. But, yeah, really, I could see it. I don't know why I said that, because I actually think Woodson's probably going to do his best work early. And Jourdain tends to take over. And I honestly think all that backing up could actually end up slowing down Woodson. So, I think that'll definitely play into Jourdain's favor. I think he just needs to get after it early, because, it's going to be tough to finish Woodson, where, he seems like he's got a chin on him, even though dudes that are built like him and fight like he does tend to not. But I actually think Jourdain, wins the decision here. The line's a little too wide for me, but I'll take Jourdain. Let's move on to the next fight. We got Brad Katona taking on Garrett Armfield, and I wanted to see how long I was going so far because I did go on pretty long in those first couple of fights. But you know me, if I can get these, I used to go like 2 hours. I try to make them quicker for you guys now, but I tend to ramble. Brad Katona taking on Garrett Armfield. This is a fight, man. I swear I'm alone on this. I mean, obviously Katona's the favorite, but I feel like Katona is very underrated. I even feel like minus 180 for him. I get that, like, he just came off the Ultimate Fighter. I mean, I just feel like the problem with Katona is he's had a lot of boring fights. I mean, obviously lost 2 in a row. They're both decisions. I mean, Merab and Hunter Azure. Okay, Hunter Azure is pretty legit. Like, I don't think that's a terrible loss. And at the time, Azure was undefeated. Problem with Katona is he's just been known for having a boring fights, but his last fight definitely wasn't boring. He's not a big finisher. He doesn't have the most, he's willing to go out there and do what he has to do to win, and that's why he's won the Ultimate Fighter twice. But I think he should be a bigger favorite, man. I think he can take Garrett Armfield down. I think it'll be pretty competitive on the feet. I think Garrett does have, the better finishing upside on the feet. For sure, but I think he could catch Brad and knock him out, but that's the only way I really see him winning this fight. I think Katona can mix in the takedowns. I think the feet is going to be close enough. I mean, dude's got T-Rex arms, man, 64.5-inch reach, but, he's pretty technical, man. He's got a high fight IQ. I think he can mix in these takedowns. Kill Cliff's a great gym. I mean, much better gym than SBG Ireland. I'm sorry. They're just a one-hit wonder. I'm sorry. But Kill Cliff, Garrett's is surrounded by killers. Is this going to be a fight where we're going to see this 27-year-old come in looking better than ever? It might be, but this is a big step up for him, man. I feel like Brad is legit underrated. I think he should be a bigger favorite, and that's why I did bet him early, man. Some people got a crazy line on this one, man. I'm trying to get earlier and earlier, man, but I think I saw this line open at like minus 135. That's crazy. Katona should be a bigger favorite in my opinion, man. He's one of my more confident picks other than the huge favorites. As far as people under 200, I think he's like my most confident bet. Katona, I got him at minus 166. It's not the minus 135. I think that was only there for like a day. I saw minus 155 for a couple days. I missed out on that, man. I don't know. I definitely slept on that line. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know. I was a little late on this one, but minus 166 is still better than what it is now. I mean, I think this thing's close to 200 now. Where are we at? Katona. Oh wow, yeah, minus 190, minus 200 on some books, minus 175 on some. Okay, I mean, I still think there's value there, but I mean, I honestly think there's value until you get to the twos. I think Brad Katona is the more well-rounded fighter, higher fight IQ, much more experience. I'm a little worried about, Garrett's young. He's got some momentum. I know he lost 2 fights ago, but that was David Onama. I think that was even short notice. He really wasn't supposed to win that fight. But, Kill Cliff, he's surrounded by killers, one of the best gyms out there. But I'm going to go with the more experienced, more well-rounded, higher fight IQ, at least from what we've seen so far. But, I get anybody going with the young gun, but I'm going to take Brad. I'm going to take him by decision. Garrett's tough, and Brad's just not much of a finisher. But now we're on to the main card. We got Arnold Allen taking on Movsar Evloev. This is a crazy fight, man. I mean, this is a crazy fight. This probably the second highest level fight on the card. I mean, both these guys are so good. I mean, Arnold Allen, he lost to Max Holloway. His only other loss was, 2014, almost 10 years ago by decision. Pretty tough guy, too. I swear that looks like I was thinking Mike Wazowski when I saw that name. But anyways, Arnold Allen, he is going to have a striking advantage here. He doesn't always throw the most volume. Neither of these guys will throw the most volume. But, Arnold Allen's volume can get him in trouble sometimes. He tends to just land those pinpoint. I don't even think he's got the most power. So, for being a lower volume guy and not having the most, he's got solid power. Definitely solid power. Not underrated or under average power. But, like above average power. For a guy who can throw the volume he does and still get wins, you tend to see it like crazy power or something. But he's just super pinpoint with his shots, man. And Mavzar, on the other hand, like he's definitely a grappler. Like his striking has gotten better, and he can mix in the striking. It's not like he's out here like diving at the legs desperately, but like he needs to be like more like a lot of these Russian guys, like Islam earlier in his career, like he's just more defensive, just waiting to put you up against the cage, waiting to take you down because on the feet he's not super dynamic. Like it's kind of basic. He's kind of stiff sometimes. I mean he needs to get this fight to the ground for sure. I do think he can take Arnold Allen down, but can he keep him there? I mean, I don't know. He's got a solid gas tank, but both these guys have solid gas tanks. But Mavzar undefeated. He's had some close calls. I mean, the Diego Lopes fight was pretty crazy. The Nick Lentz fight, surprisingly, I think that was a retirement fight for Nick Lentz too. And Arnold Allen smoked him, didn't he? Didn't he knock him out? He didn't knock him out, but I think he beat the piss out of him. I remember that not being competitive. But, obviously that's MMA math. But at the same time, like, Mavzar, it's not like he's beat a ton of good guys. I do think that's because people don't want to fight him. I mean, I don't think that's because, they're so scared. No, it's like, yeah, he's undefeated. He's very good. And he's also boring and nobody knows him. Like, if you know Mavzar Evloev, Jesus Christ, I usually say it right. Now I'm proving my point. If you know who Mavzar Evloev is, congratulations, you're a hardcore MMA fan. Because there's probably like 500 people who know who this guy is. I'm sorry. Well, there's 500 people outside of Russia who knows who this guy is, okay? And it's because I saw a tweet earlier today, actually, that said, man, why isn't Mavzar getting the hype, that you would think with he's 7-0 in the UFC? I'm like, I don't know. Decision, split decision against the guy who retired after the fight. Decision. And this was a short notice fight. Now that win is aged pretty good, but, it was a guy that he was kind of supposed to smoke. Lopes came in there short notice. It was like, people were like, oh, wow, this fight, guy's going to get crushed. Look at this guy with the dorky haircut. And then he almost finished Mavzar. And that actually brings me into my other fear, why I'm not going to be betting this fight. Mavzar, I'm pretty sure he tore his knee in that fight. Now, I never saw him officially announce that, but we've seen him talk about he had an injury. I've seen him mention that on several interviews. It seems like he's trying to be low-key, and fighters like to be low-key about injuries, I think, especially when it came from an actual submission. I think Lopes might have legit shred this dude's knee. So in another world, he's coming off a submission loss. I'm not saying that would be a terrible loss. I mean, Diego's legit, but, he probably should have tapped to that because I'm pretty sure he shredded his knee in that. I mean, watching that sub attempt makes me cringe. I mean, because I've been doing jiu-jitsu almost 9 years and 8 years, 8 and some change, and I hate seeing heel hooks when they're locked in. I hate seeing knee bars when they're locked in. Just leg locks in general make me cringe when they're locked in. I mean, they're just so dangerous, and I really think he might have shredded. He might have hurt Mavzar's knee. And I didn't see him officially announce that, but if he's coming off a bad knee injury and this is a big step up, man. This is a big step up. This is probably a future champion, Arnold Allen. He's only 29. Both these guys are in their prime. They're probably actually before their primes. Only like a year or two before probably, but I think both these guys are still getting better. I mean, they're training at good gyms. I am gonna lean Evloev because. You know what? No, I'm not. I actually think I'm picking Arnold Allen. The striking advantage, the fact that this is a big step up off a potential bad knee injury. I was saying all week, I think I'm leaning Mavzar, but I just would not bet that line. But I honestly think when I envision the fight, I actually think Arnold Allen is going to win this fight. I mean, shout out to Arnold Allen coming off his first loss in the last 10 years, and he's fighting Mavzar Evloev. Like, he did not need to take this fight. I guarantee you he wasn't the first, he wasn't the second, and he might not even been the third dude they approached for this fight. People do not want to fight this guy, man. And I get why. Because he's a small name. He's a boring fighter. He's probably going to go out there and beat you. But I honestly think this might be too much of a step up for Evloev. I mean, obviously it's about time, 17-0. But this is a big jump, man. I mean, this is a big jump. Lopes is legit, don't get me wrong, but that was short notice. That might not even been the best Lopez. Is it Lopez or Lopes? I always forget. I've gone back and forth. But that might not even been, best Diego there is. So, give me Arnold Allen, man. I think, I don't know if he finishes him. I think he might get a knockdown. I think he might land some decent shots. I don't know if he'll finish him, but I'm going to take Arnold Allen by decision. Yeah, I think probably a decision, but I got this strange feeling he's going to win the fight, man. Give me the underdog, Arnold Allen. Let's move on to the next fight, man. We got Chris Curtis taking on Marc-Andre Barriault. And Marc-Andre, man, obviously fighting at home. The power bar, he's legit. I mean, Chris Curtis fighting on his boys' card, Sean Strickland's card. Marc-Andre, I've bet Marc-Andre a good bit. I bet him against Dolce, easy. I won't say easy, but we'll take it. I lost that. I actually bet him against Abu Azaitar too. I think I bet him against Oscar, but I don't remember if I took him by. I think I might have taken him by decision. I can't remember, but I'm actually surprised they gave him that fight. I mean, lost 3 decisions in a row, but decent competition for sure. And then he pops. I'm actually really surprised that they didn't cut him after this. You lose 3 fights in a row, and then your first win gets overturned for Osterin, which pretty much got popped for the juice, allegedly. But then gets a couple wins, and then Chitty just sparks him. I mean, I had him in that fight, lost some money. Then I bet him again, Jordan Ray. And then I laid off. I don't think I bet Anthony Hernandez, but I definitely saw that writing on the wall in that one. And I bet him in the last 2, but I honestly think I got away with one in the Eric Anders fight. I don't know if he won that fight. That was close, but Marc-Andre's made me some money, and that's why when I saw him as an underdog, I was like, okay, he's definitely going to throw more volume. Chris Curtis more of a counter guy, but the thing is, man, that volume could play into a counter striker like Chris Curtis, man. This is what he wants. He wants you to come forward and try to throw a lot of strikes on him, because the thing about Chris Curtis, man, he doesn't throw a ton of volume sometimes, or a lot of times, but he can land that shot that you need. And I know he hasn't been looking great lately, but I think the Jack Hermanson style was tough for him because he just kind of circled and point fought him so hard, and I don't think Chris Curtis adjusted well to that. The Gastelum fight was tough, man. That was a tough fight. You also had that crazy headbutt. I know a lot of people hated when he brought it up, but it's legit. And then the Mava fight, he gets another headbutt. So dude's been getting headbutted lately, but I just feel like he's going to land the shot that he needs, man. Marc-Andre's going to come forward, land shots. I always used to say, man, Marc-Andre, the reason I like to bet him is, good cardio, good durability, but I don't know. Even in some of these wins, I haven't loved how he's been taking shots. I just feel like a knockout loss for him is coming again. And I feel like Chris Curtis might be the one to do it. I thought about waiting until the Chris Curtis knockout line dropped, and maybe I'm going to kick myself for that because the same happened in the Johan fight. But, I thought, a lot of times in these situations, I wait for the knockout prop to drop, and then I'm like, it's not that great, and I could have got a better line on him straight. So, will I end up taking the knockout prop on those 2 fights when it drops on more books? Maybe. But I had to try to get on it early so I didn't miss the line. So I took Chris Curtis at -155. I saw the line was not going to, it was just going to continue to get worse. Some people got it better. Again, a couple of these, I'm like, I'm waiting. Maybe I want to wait till the props. Oh, now I've already lost, 10, 15, 20 points. So I took Chris Curtis -155. That line's still going. So, part of me's happy I got on it early. Part of me is like, the knockout prop would have been nice to at least get the chance to see it first, but on more books at least. I mean, you can probably snipe it out there somewhere, but none of the books I play had either of those 2 knockout props when I played them. So, especially the Lioness fight, but Yeah, I mean, I took Chris Curtis minus 155. I think is Marc Andre's volume and his willingness to come forward is going to play into Chris Curtis's hands. Give me Chris Curtis by knockout. Um, we'll see if I play that prop too, but I'm going to take Chris Curtis by knockout straight. By straight, but I am going to pick him by knockout. Next up, we got Neil Magny taking on Mike Malott. This is a fight where, honestly, man, like I'm going to keep this pretty short and sweet because I just have no intention of betting this. I mean, if I were to bet it, it'd be dog or pass for me. And I don't think I'm going to go there because Neil Magny is just, he hasn't looked like Neil Magny lately. I mean, he's 36. It's not like he's like super old. Welterweight 36 isn't crazy, but Mike Malott he's got all the momentum, man. He's young. He's looking better and better. The thing is, man, this is a big step up. Like Mike Malott, you go through his wins. It's not like crazy. I mean, Fugit, he looked solid, but I mean, we also saw some sketchiness in the Lioness fight. Lioness just did nothing in that round. My God. I mean, I really hope we don't see that volume in this fight because Manzi, I think he might have. I think it was the opponent. I think Malott, lulled him into that, but had him shook to get hit. But he did lose to Hakeem Dawodu, but I mean, Hakeem's legit. And that was early in his career. I do think he's legit. I think he should win this fight, especially for how Neil's been looking lately. And the striking and just the durability is going down, it seems. But I think Malott should win, but damn near 3-1. It's just too much. Like, for me, when I see a 3-1 on a guy like this from the big step up, I do think it's a favorable matchup. I think he should win. I mean, my God, Neil Magny. Who is it? It's him and who was the other guy? I tweeted the other day. It's just like Neil Magny gets called out once a week. Like him and Rob Font. Him and Rob Font are the most called out fighters I've ever seen. But and I get why it's a favorable matchup. But and if you lose to him, he probably just grinds you to a decision. A couple of years ago, I'd have been all over Magny or by decision. But I'm gonna go Mike Malott. I'm gonna say he gets him out of there TKO second round or so. But 3-1 is just crazy, man. I'm good on that. Let's get into the first title fight, man. Co-main event. I get why a lot of people are hating on this fight. I mean, you go from having Amanda Nunes as your champion to potentially most likely either Raquel or Mayra Buena Silva. Hopefully nothing stupid happens. But yeah, I mean, I get why people are hating on it. It's a little bit of a letdown from that. I mean, I get it, but at the end of the day, man, the 135 women's division went from being like their only legit women's division to by far the worst. I mean, it's a tough division right now, but at the end of the day, man, both these girls have been looking pretty good. I mean, Mayra Buena Silva, a lot of people are saying like she popped. Don't get it twisted. Like it wasn't. She popped for like Adderall or some shit. So like I don't care. It's not like it was steroids. Outside of that, I mean, she's looked good. Her only loss in the UFC was this Mano Farrow, who's obviously super legit. I mean, who's she fighting? Who's Farrow just get announced? Yeah, Erin Blanchfield, like title eliminator, super good, one of the best girls in the division. But had the draw to Montana De La Rosa. I mean, De La Rosa's pretty tough, and that was her. Damn, actually no. I could have sworn that was like her second UFC fight. Wow, she had already had two. But anyways, yeah, I mean, Raquel Pennington's obviously been around forever. Not the most exciting fighter, but hey, her style works. She's like a wrestle boxer. Doesn't have a ton of knockout power. She just wants to like pepper you, put you up against the cage, make it ugly, make it dirty. Mayra Buena Silva, we saw her beat a girl trying to do that to her in her last fight. They got that nasty choke. I think it was like a ninja choke, right? I think that's what she hit on her. A little ninja guillotine. But, she's been looking good. Obviously, if there's a finish, I'm going to lean Mayra. But I would not be surprised if Raquel can grind her, man. The only thing that scares me is like, yeah, she's 35. It's not like she's, she feels like she's got to be like 40 because she's just been in the UFC for so long. But, she has a lot of wear and tear on that body fighting in the UFC for like 10 years. Can she go another hard five against, a dangerous girl? I don't know. But, I know she can, but at what pace? Can she keep that pace? Can she just grind her? I'm going to say that this fight if there's a finish, it's gonna be Myra. But I really am. I'm leaning the dog, man. I think Raquel. I get, she's 35, but Myra, like, I haven't been like super impressed with her winning ability. I think, she's a great finisher, but I think some of these grinders. I know Raquel's getting up there, but at this line, I mean, I haven't bet it. I really just, I mean. Again, only 35, which is not like that's crazy at Bantam, but, she's been in the UFC for a long time. A lot of wear and tear, but she's been getting it done, man. This is 5 rounds, and Myra's dangerous, but I'm going to go with the underdog, man. I'm going to say Raquel can grind her out. The striking be pretty competitive. I mean, Myra's got good subs, so Raquel's got to be careful when she's, clinching her up against the cage. Clearly, we saw in the last fight. And, if she can mix in the takedowns, just be careful. But I'm going to say Raquel's just a better minute winner. So I'm going to say Raquel gets the decision. I get why Myra is the favorite. I really do. But at this line, I'm going to go Raquel. And I think even straight up, man, I think Raquel is the more proven fighter. She's more well-rounded. And I'm going to go Raquel Pennington to win by decision. Let's move on to the fight everyone's been waiting for. This fight, man, I am so excited for. Even before the drama, we gotta take a dabaroo for this one, man. Cheers. I like both these guys. I'm a fan of both. I'm not gonna lie. Probably a bigger Strickland fan. I am a bigger Strickland fan. But I like Dricus too. I like Dricus too. The S is silent, sorry. I know he's told us that before. He won me over as a fan in that Izzy fight. I wasn't like the biggest fan before. And honestly, I've slept on him a lot. I've picked against him and he's ended up coming back. I have picked him a couple times, but he won me over with how he handled the Izzy shit. I think Izzy really it was real cringe how he handled it in the octagon after that Dricus win over Rob. But I think he kind of won me over after that. Like, he just kind of just alphaed him a little bit. But I obviously pulled out of the fight, of his opportunity to fight Izzy, which wasn't a good look, and the UFC didn't like it. And Sean stepping in and getting the belt, that is the ultimate, dub move for Sean. Oh, you pulled out, I stepped in for you and won the belt, and now you're coming to try to take it. I wish Sean would have hammered in on that even more. But anyways, I picked against Dricus in the Brunson fight and in the Whitaker fight, and obviously he got it done. I was shocked in the Rob fight, I'm not gonna lie. And Brunson, Brunson had his moments, man. We seen Brunson took him down. We saw Tavares take him down. We saw him try to wrestle Tavares, and what the hell was going on there, man? And that's the thing is, I'm hearing all these people say, oh, he's just going to take Sean down. I think y'all are sleeping on Sean, man. I think some of y'all are sleeping on Sean's grappling, acting like Dricus is just going to take him down. People are posting that video of him submitting a bunch of Gracie Baja black belts, and look, someone's gonna be annoyed at this, but Gracie Baja is kind of shit. Sorry. Am I wrong? Gracie Baja's kind of dog shit. Kind of the McDonald's of jiu-jitsu. But I'm sorry. To the one guy who's listening that's like, yo, I'm sure you're the legit one. Every shit gym has a couple good guys, but it's kind of the McDonald's. Sean Strickland's got good grappling, man. You hear from his training, obviously people talk up their training partners, but even guys who aren't his actual partners, they're just guys he's trained with. They're like, bro, he can grapple. People sleep on his grappling. You hear every guy who's trained with him say that. Yo, he's a legit black belt. I'm surprised he doesn't grapple more. I've literally heard 10 UFC fighters say that. Say, yo, I trained with this guy. He's a really good grappler. I don't know why he doesn't wrestle more. I think the reason he doesn't wrestle is, what is it, his hamstring? What is it? I don't remember what. He has, some nasty leg injury from that motorcycle accident. It's escaping my mind right now, but he's got a pretty horrific injury from that he's just gone through, and I think he's straight up missing a quad. I'm sounding dumb right here. Look, I don't know what's it called? What's the, I don't know the human anatomy super well. All right, he's missing a big muscle in his leg. Is what I do know. So maybe that's why he doesn't wrestle more. But he's not easy to take down, and he's not easy to take down and submit. That's for sure. I mean, this guy is a good grappler, dude, and I not only hear it from all his people that train with him, but I see it in his fights. I think the real question in this fight is who's going to go forward, because both these guys want to go forward. Both these guys, want to put the pressure on their opponents. Obviously, Dricus more with, he throws volume too, but he throws good volume. But, power shots, and he wants to get you out of there early. Sean, his big thing is like his cardio, man. I've never seen Sean get tired. This guy, he doesn't have the most power. He's not the quickest. He's not the biggest, but, Dricus is going to have a size advantage on him. He's going to have a strength and power advantage. But, maybe he can take him down in the first. But I don't think Dricus wants to do too much wrestling, because this is a 5-round fight, and you're fighting the guy with probably the best cardio in the division. At least up there for sure. And that's like his strength, man. He's got great cardio. He's pretty durable unless you're Alex Pereira. But the thing is, Alex Pereira, he sets those shots up, man. I can't remember who it was. I wish I could do him justice, but somebody did a really nice clip-by-clip breakdown on how Alex set up that knockout. And it was so technical. It was high level. That's why you saw he's a high-level kickboxer. And he knew there was no takedown threat from Sean. So, especially because Alex looks 2 weight classes bigger than Sean. So, it was just a really bad matchup for Sean Strickland. But the thing is, Dricus, I don't think his striking is I have given him a lot more credit lately, because while it doesn't look the prettiest, a good strike, like my boy Chael Sonnen says, is a strike that lands. And Dricus knows how to just land that big shot. And he's got a nasty, hard jab that really messed Whitaker up and interrupted all his blitzes. But the thing is, Strickland doesn't need to blitz. He's going to come forward. But he's going to come forward, but he's still going to want to counter. He's going to want to parry those shots from Du Plessis and rip back. I think if Sean was more of a come forward and throw constantly, like he does like to throw out a lot of jabs, a lot of crosses, a lot of straight shots in general. People act like he doesn't have a nasty lead hook too, but which he used to get that big knockdown on Izzy. It was more of like he brought his block down, or his blocking hand down with it. But Strickland's got nasty boxing, man, and I really feel like his technical boxing, as long as he survives the first 7 minutes, the first 2 rounds especially, if he takes Du Plessis, I'm not saying Du Plessis has terrible cardio, but I think the pace these guys are going to be fighting at, I think Strickland will start having to make Du Plessis back up. I think if Brad Tavares can stuff the takedowns, Sean Strickland definitely can. And if he does get taken down, Du Plessis is just going to get tired even quicker. I think Du Plessis either got to get that first round finish, maybe second round, or Strickland's just going to start taking over. I think every single round we're going to see it go more into Sean Strickland's favor. This is a big finisher, and I get Du Plessis been in some 5-round fights, but he's a finisher. They don't typically go that long. I think Sean Strickland's got the better gas tank. I think both these guys are tough. They're pretty durable, but I think Strickland's gas is going to just weigh on Du Plessis, and I think later on in the fight we're going to see Du Plessis backing up. I think Strickland's going to start landing, and I wouldn't be shocked if Strickland wins the decision, because Du Plessis is tough. He's not just going to ball up and take a L, but I think, honestly, the pace they're fighting at is going to force a finish. I get if you're taking Dricus. This is a high-level fight, man. This is a good fight. But I'm going with Sean Strickland, man. I'm going with Sean Strickland. I think he is just the better fighter. I think just stylistically, I don't know if just on paper if he's just a better fighter. Du Plessis is very well-rounded. He's a great fighter as well. But I think in this fight with 5 rounds, it really does suit Strickland. In a 3-round fight, I would probably take Du Plessis. But in a 5-round fight, all Strickland really needs to do is drag him to that 3rd. And by that 3rd, he should be taken over. By the 4th, he should be beating Du Plessis up. So I'm going to take a late 3rd round finish for Sean Strickland. Maybe 4th. We'll see. But I think, late 3rd to 4th, 5th, those late rounds, Strickland is going to find the finish. So give me Strickland by TKO, one of those later rounds. So those are my picks. Those are where I'm at so far betting wise. I do think that main event's going to be crazy. It's going to be close, but I'm going to go Strickland. I mean, the line at this point, where is it? I hate when they split it up like this. Yeah, it's starting to creep a little bit more towards Strickland, I guess. I mean, you saw him. He actually opened on some books plus money. I wish I would have got in on that. But, Strickland even at, I mean, these odds, that's about where I'd put it, honestly. I'd probably put him right in there, minus 120, minus 140, somewhere in that range. Minus 120, minus 130. That's pretty much where I'm at. That's why I haven't bet it. So give me Sean Strickland, but no bet. And I'm also going to take Raquel Pennington by decision as the underdog. I'm going with Mike Malott, TKO. I'm going Chris Curtis, TKO, or maybe even KO. Arnold Allen, another underdog number 2 by decision. I'm going to go Brad Katona by decision as well. Charles Jourdain by decision. I'm going to go Cerise Adi. I'm going to take him by TKO. I'm going to go Jillian Roberson, decision. That could go a lot of ways too. Johan Lioness, and I'm taking him by knockout. I'm going Jasmine Jasdavicius by decision and Malcolm Gordon by, honestly, that one too, that path could go a lot of ways. But honestly, I might have said decision earlier. I don't remember, but I'm thinking TKO, man. I think I think I said TKO earlier. Yeah, I'm thinking TKO, man. That's one where it could go a lot of ways, man. But that's where my head's at for this card, man. It's gonna be a good card. I know it went a little long, but it is a pay-per-view, first pay-per-view of the year, and I'm excited, man. Screw the fact that of the year, but more like we haven't had a pay-per-view in a while, man. It's been a while, so I'm hyped. I'm ready. I can't wait. The popcorn's gonna be packed. I'm gonna have maybe the bong's gonna be packed, maybe a brew, but it's gonna be some fun fights, man. Let's go, Deshaun. It's like I like Duplessis, like he's won me over, but and honestly, like he seems like a cool guy, but I like Sean Strickland a little bit more, and I try to put my bias to the side. I really do think Sean Strickland should win this fight. All that aside, so super excited, man. Make sure you leave a like on the video, leave a comment, let me know your favorite bet, your favorite most confident pick, maybe your most confident parlay. Hit me up on Twitter. It's gonna be in the caption below. I appreciate you guys. I will see you guys for the fights, and I'll be you'll catch me on Twitter for the fights, and might go live on Twitch. Other than that, man, I'll see you for the next one. Got more content dropping as well. Peace.